Hey everyone, I finished watching the next Time Force episode, A Calm Before the Storm Part 1. This is one of my favorite episodes of all of Power Rangers. I like it so much, I'm doing this video standing up. I don't know, so that'd be something different to do. So anyway, summary for the episode. Let's see. Last episode ended with Alex contacting the Rangers and telling them that the historical records show that if they stay in the present, 2001, they'll die in the upcoming battle. So this episode starts off with them finishing up the message, and Alex tells them that they have to return to the future before the time holes in the sky start to open. I guess they're still forming or something right at the moment? Whatever. So, anyway, the Rangers are like, what about Wes? Then Alex says, unfortunately, he's not from the future. He has to stay in the year 2001. And so the other Rangers are really nervous about this. They don't know what to do. And then, oh yeah, then there's a cool scene. We see Ransik standing on this balcony, ordering a bunch of his Cyclobots to go out and find Frax. And the cool thing with this is that balcony he's standing on, I think, is the same one that Astronema stands on when she's giving her speech to the Quantron army. That's a neat little thing. Huh. It's kind of weird. I don't know where the balcony came from in Ransik's case. Like, for Astronema, I assume it was part of the Dark Fortress, but for Ransik, whoa. I don't know. What? Maybe that base is bigger than it looks. Who knows? Um, my notes are jumping around for some reason. Anyway, back at the clock tower, Wes is sleeping and he has this nightmare of his friends getting sucked into one of those big time hole things. He wakes up, he's all shaken, he goes down and he sees all of his friends together. Hey guys, what are you doing? And then they tell him that they're not going to go to the future, they're going to stay and fight alongside him. And Wes is really worried about like what's going to happen. He doesn't know for sure if what Alex said is going to come true or not. So then, let's see, Ransik sends out the Cyclobots. Nadira's going along with the Cyclobots, and she gets really bored. And she sees this clothing store, and she's like, oh, hey, I can rob that and terrorize people? That's fun. So then she goes over there and does that for a while. And then Trip suddenly shows up, and he's trying to get her out of the store, and then suddenly something grabs Trip's attention, and Nadira's like, hey, what's going on? She goes over and starts to try and pick a fight with him again, and he's like, later, can't you see this woman is pregnant? Yeah, there's a woman, like, going into labor there. Okay. So anyway, Trip tries to convince Nadira to help the woman. There's like a million, like, I watched every other, there's like 20 some people in the store, or I don't know if there's that many, but there are quite a few people in the store. They're all women, and none of them are evil. So, whatever, I don't know. Anyway, he tells Nadira to do it, and reluctantly she does. Okay. So then, let's see. Oh yeah, but then we cut to Frax. Frax is putting the finishing touches on his new robot room from? Okay, for some reason my notes really don't like the word Doomtron. Doomtron. There. Okay. Now it's Doomtron, not room from. I wrote Doomtron like a million times and this thing still doesn't understand it. Whatever. Anyway, at the store, Nadira successfully helps the woman have her baby, and she's carrying the baby out, and she's like, it's so beautiful. And Trip looks at the baby, and everyone's all happy, and I notice the mother isn't there. She's still in the other room. I don't know, maybe she fell asleep after all this. Uh, so anyway, Trip tells Nadira, maybe humans aren't so bad after all, and Nadira's like, huh. And you can see the gears start to turn in her head. She hands over the baby, she walks out, and everyone applauds her. It's a, it's a goofy Power Rangers moment. So then, oh yeah, Gluto comes back, and I think this is the first, like, big thing Gluto has done for a while. He's leading a bunch of the Cyclobots around, and they go into this warehouse. I'm gonna look in here. So then he just randomly walks in. He's like, what's in here? And he looks down this window. Oh, I can't believe it. Yeah. I do like that they add in that little, I can't believe it. It adds a little bit of character to him. So then, let's see, Gluto goes to tell Rancic, and then meanwhile we see Nadira. She's wandered off to a park, and she's watching all these kids playing with a kickball. A kickball rolls over to her, and this little girl walks over and invites Nadira to play with them, and Nadira accepts. And then meanwhile, we see Alex in the future. He's looking at the monitors. Oh no! And he contacts the Rangers. Rangers, why haven't you left yet? And then Jen answers and tells him, we're not going back to the future. We're going to stay here with Wes. Rangers, you have to get back here before the time holes open. I can't even send the Zords back if the time holes are open. And then Jen shuts him off. And, yeah. Let's see. Ta-da. At Rancic's base, they've captured Frax, and they put him in this little prison section. Huh. You know, in a few episodes, they established there is still a cryostasis chamber in there, but I don't know, maybe it wouldn't work on Frax because he's a robot, or maybe because Rancic has plans for Frax later in this episode. Anyway, lead into one of my favorite scenes in all of Power Rangers, of any series, any episode, any moment. This is probably one of my absolute favorite scenes, where Nadira goes in to talk to Frax about why humans. She asks Frax, why do humans and mutants hate each other? And Frax has just the greatest line here. Oh, hate. There's a subject I know very well indeed. Humans rejected your father and taught him to hate. Then he destroyed me, and soon I was filled with hatred as well. It's a vicious cycle that never ends, Nadira! I love that. What's his name? I can't remember his name. The voice actor delivers that line so perfectly, and in Rancic's voice. It's so perfect. I just love everything about the line and the way he delivers it. And Nadira responds to him, I'm not sure if I hate all humans, and Frax yells back, Ha! Don't make me laugh. You're an evil mutant with a heart as black as coal, just like your father. Now get out of my sight, you sicken me. And this was a cool little moment, too, because it shows Frax knows he doesn't have anything to lose. He doesn't have anything to hide. In the past, we've heard him, mutter to himself and, under his breath, talk about, someday the robots will rule. And here, there's no reason to hide it anymore, so he can just say to them how he feels. You sicken me. And the emotion that he puts into that is just so freaking perfect. And, let's see, some Cyclobots come by to take Frax away, and as he's being taken away, Nadira, you can see tears forming in her eyes, and she says to Frax, I'm sorry for what my father did to you, Dr. Ferrix. And then Frax turns around, and we see the human face of Dr. Ferrix appear in one of those little display thingies on Frax. There's hope for her. Love that. It's another really cool moment. And Frax tells Nadira that she can break the cycle of hatred, and she doesn't have to be like Rancic. And it's another really cool moment. I really love this. And, let's see. Da-da-da-da. Oh yeah, the next scene, it reminds me of in the old movie Terror of Mechagodzilla. There's this girl, Katsura, who gets electrocuted or something by some machinery, and her father, this scientist, is like, oh no, what happened? And then, all of a sudden these scientists, or these doctor guys walk in, they weren't even contacted, they just walk right in, they pick up her body, they take her off, and they give her some operation that turns her into a cyborg. And this scene feels really similar to that, although it's kind of reversed, because Frax is a kind of sort of cyborg being turned into... Yeah, we'll see. Nadira, we see Rancic and some Cyclobots standing over Frax, whose head is, opened up, and we see all these wires coming out of his head. They leave the room, and Nadira sneaks in, and she wakes up Frax. Frax, I want to talk to you more about being human. And then, Frax doesn't respond, he just lays there, and then suddenly he responds, I am a fully automatic robot. I know nothing about being human, or something. And it shows they've wiped his memory. He is no longer Dr. Ferrix. Nothing of Dr. Ferrix remains. And it's a pretty dark moment for Power Rangers, surprisingly. Let's see. In other seasons, I'm trying to imagine if they were to do Time Force now, there would be so much sugarcoating over all of this. And also, they probably would have had him turn back into Dr. Ferrix at some point, because current Power Rangers has a weird thing with robots and humans. So, at the clock tower, the Rangers are packing up all the mutants that are in cryostasis, and while they're doing that, Wes leaves to talk to his father, and there's a cool moment where we see Wes, he runs up to his father, and we see the butler guy from way at the beginning of the series. That's cool to see him back. It's the same actor, too. He doesn't have any lines, but it's cool to have that kind of consistency and have, like, these characters still around. Anyway, Wes talks to his father and tells him that if anything happens to him in the future, he wants his father to know that he was proud to be his son, and his father is worried about this because this sounds like Wes thinks he might die. So his father's worried, but then Wes leaves, and his father, he stands there and he can kind of see in his face what's going through his mind. He's really worried about Wes, but at the same time, he knows that he can trust his judgment, and he knows that he wants to trust Wes at this point. It's a really cool way to show his progression of his character from at the beginning, where he really didn't trust Wes's own judgment and thought Wes should just do what he wants him to do, and now he's accepted that Wes is his own person and is going to make his own choices, and it's just a really cool, subtle thing. So, let's see. Wes helps the Rangers load the mutants onto the time ship. He's really bummed out. He wants them to leave. He doesn't want them to risk getting hurt in the present. And he sees Trip putting these books into this cabinet, the, how was it, autopilot manual. And, let's see. So yeah, the autopilot manual catches his eye, but then we cut away, we see Ransik taking Frax out to pilot the Doomtron robot, and this is also kind of a, what's the word, a kind of ghoulish moment, because, like, Frax is basically a zombie now. Like, imagine if Frax wasn't a robot. Imagine if he was, like, a mutant, or an alien, or some kind of biological thing, and Ransik just erased his memory, and now he's, like, parading him around outside, and, like, ordering him around. It's very disturbing image that just barely squeaks by because he's a robot, so it's okay, because bad things can happen to robots, I guess. Let's see. Looking at my notes here. Oh yeah, he tells Frax pilot the Doomtron robot. The Rangers show up to stop the... Oh, there's a glitch in my notes there. Okay, the Rangers leave to stop the robot, but Wes stays behind in the time ship and takes a quick peek through the autopilot manual, and I guess memorizes it. Future events in the episode. So anyway, let's see. Eric and the Silver Guardians arrive. Eric morphs. He calls the Q-Rex, and the Q-Rex is fighting with Doomtron. But now the time holes are open, so the Rangers can't call the Megazords. And I just noticed, autocorrect took the apostrophe out of can't for some reason. Computers. Anyway, Circuit flies in and tells the Rangers he's found out that the Trizerium crystals are causing the time holes, and the Trizerium crystals are what power Doomtron as well as Q-Rex. So the Rangers tell Eric that the Q-Rex is powered by Trizerium crystals and they're causing the time holes to open. Eric can't risk calling off Q-Rex, because if he calls off Q-Rex and stops fighting Doomtron, Doomtron is going to destroy the whole city. And the Rangers understand this, and Eric understands the conflict going on, and it's a really cool moment because we have, like, both sides of the Rangers. They have their own priorities, and they know that this is the right thing for Eric to do, even though it's also kind of the wrong thing. It's just a cool little, like, moral conflict between the two, and they all accept that they know what's going on, and I don't know, it's just a little subtle thing, again, that I really miss in the current seasons, where we don't have any kind of gray area with decisions to be made, or moral choices, or allegiance to anything. Whatever, back to the thing. Let's see. Wes gets an idea. He tells the Rangers, "Hey, I have an idea. We can use the time ship." "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Come on, I'll show you." And he takes them all to the time ship. They go in, and suddenly he starts typing on the controls, and the Rangers are like, "How do you know how to do that?" And then we see Lucas, and I love the look in Lucas's face where he's like, he's getting very suspicious of Wes, and he says, "Come on, guys, let's go." And then Wes notices, he turns around, "Hey, Lucas, wait." Then he pushes him in, and then jumps out, locks the door, locks him inside, and sets the time ship to go back to the future. And then, let's see, yeah, the Rangers are locked in, they're headed to the future. Wes is in the present, the Rangers are inside, they're screaming, they don't want Wes to get hurt. They know that if they're not there, that they can't protect him, and they have no control over it. And it's such a powerful moment, and that's where this first part ends, and it is so amazing. I freaking love this. When I was younger, I had the tape of this, which combined the previous episode along with this 3-part finale, and it works so well as a movie. It really feels like a movie. They should have released this as a movie. Can you imagine this on a slightly bigger budget? It would be so cool to have big battle scenes with the Cyclobots and all this. Whatever. Anyway, I remember seeing this when I was a little kid on TV, and it blew me away. It was freaking amazing. Ever since then, it's been one of my favorites, and nothing has really topped it since. It's always kind of frustrated me that they seem to peak at Time Force, and then after that, they could just never seem to reach that style again. And like even other seasons that I really like, they've never really hit that height that Time Force did. My absolute favorite part of the episode, Frax and Nadira's scene, just perfect. Oh yeah, the scene when Nadira apologizes to Frax about her father destroying Dr. Ferrix, and we see Dr. Ferrix appear in that little display on Frax. That was a really big moment to me as a little kid, because I remember watching the episode with Ferrix, and I can't remember exactly when I saw it, but I remember seeing this moment here, and it really blew me away, because I had never expected to see this character come back, or make any kind of reappearance in the series, so that was really cool. Oh yeah, and the other thing, when Frax's memory is erased and Ransik is like giving him orders and Frax is just a mindless robot now, it reminded me a lot of in Lightspeed when Diabolico is revived, but he's basically just a zombie now. It reminded me a lot of that, although Diabolico was a far less sympathetic character than Frax is. Let's see. Oh yeah, and the other thing, all the tough decisions characters have to make in this episode. Like, if there's any theme in this finale of Time Force, it's the decisions that the characters make that affect the outcome of everything. The Rangers make the decision to stay in the present, risk sacrificing themselves to save Wes. Wes makes the decision to send them back to the future and sacrifice himself to save them. Nadira makes the decision to, like, go against her father. So much going on here. Oh, and Eric's conviction, I know that, let's see, I love that at the end of the episode, when the Rangers tell him that he has to call off Q-Rex and he refuses, at this point in the show, he knows that he can trust the Rangers, but at the same time, he knows that he can't risk calling off Q-Rex because Doomtron will destroy the city. Let's see. Just everything about this episode just falls together so perfectly. It's not like in like any other season I can think of where everything just fits into place so well. I'm trying to think of like any other season where everything comes together so perfectly in the end, and I really can't think of any. Like in all of Time Force, there's not really any awkward moments, or not major. There's like 1 or 2 weak episodes. There's the episode Full Exposure, but even then we have like over 30 some episodes that are really amazing episodes. Compare that to the Disney era where we have some like really bad clip shows, we have like team ups that meander around and really, really awkward decisions made in the episodes that just make everything fall apart. We have out of character moments, we have the Neo Saban era, which is full of bad clip shows and awkward moments and wasted time and wasted moments and wasted opportunities. Even now in Hasbro's era, where, let's see, we have Dino Fury, which has been okay, but it just feels so childish, and I wish that we could get back to this level of maturity in Power Rangers writing. And like I keep hearing from the people who are fine with Dino Fury saying, "Oh, I don't want it to be like Time Force because it was too dark and depressing or whatever," and it really isn't. I mean, how old was I? like 9 or 10, I think, when Time Force was on, and I freaking loved it. Oh wait, no, was it? Yeah, I was 10, I think, when Time Force was on. It was my favorite season then. It's my favorite season now. I was a little kid when it was on. I'm an adult now, and I still love it and appreciate everything about it. Um, don't know what else to say. I'm not gonna go on ranting about how much I love Time Force. So that's all for this one. See ya.